Heidi ho, neighbors. Today, we're talking about grid down mobility. Got that for the kids. Facebook Marketplace, 20 bucks. Best 20 bucks I've ever spent. But in all seriousness, we are talking about grid down travel, grid down vehicles, considerations. This is a video that, I don't know, it's a random one, but it's one that I'm into. I think you guys will be into as well. I try to make videos that obviously I'm into, but that I hope will resonate with some of you guys. So, it's actually heating up today. So, you guys know me from vehicular stuff a lot. You guys know me from some preparedness. If you're OGs, you know me from firearms and training, stuff like that. You know me from wrenching on stuff, building things, the bug out bus, the ultimate prepared daily driver here, or the Tacoma. Like I obviously talk a lot about vehicles. So I don't have an outline or anything really for this video. I don't even know exactly the vehicles that I'm gonna be talking about, but it's gonna be none of these. It's not gonna be any of the stuff you kind of normally think of me and my channel about, but I probably will do a follow-up video about kind of grid down, post-apocalyptic vehicular considerations as it pertains to bigger vehicles that you're gonna need to do more travel on. This video is more about the smaller vehicles, why I'm talking about them, why they matter, self-powered bicycles, etc. And just I'm gonna just kind of talk about that. I'm gonna talk about specifically the ones I have. Obviously, I don't have any horses. Otherwise, we talk about horses and some other stuff. So we're gonna talk about things that I've had, things that I've built or acquired or modified, why I have them, how I use them in the normal time, and how I think that they might benefit me in a grid down scenario. And that's what this video is gonna be about. I will try to put chapters down below that really is, so in case you care about a specific thing, I'm gonna talk about a golf cart, I'm gonna talk about some e-bikes, I'm gonna talk about the Surron, maybe the Onewheel. I'm not sure exactly yet. I'm just gonna kind of look around at the stuff that I use on the somewhat daily and how they're gonna apply later, because a lot of what I do, I think you guys know, I try to bake in as many preparedness type elements into truly enjoyable hobbies that are practical and they make sense in the day-to-day. So I'm not just building myself a bunker in a doomsday prepper scenario where it's just I have a bunch of stuff. I'm like, if I'm gonna get the stuff, I'm gonna try and cater it towards how I'll get the maximum benefit out of it, either for fun or practicality, utility, fun with the kids, etc. So it's gonna be a lot of that in this video. It goes without saying though, the main grid down mobility piece of wisdom, knowledge, gear, vehicle is your own physical fitness. So I've always tried to maintain a decent level of fitness. I'm not out here running ultra marathons or anything like that, but your main item in a grid down scenario will be your own physical capabilities. All of this other stuff will help that. It'll be an addition to, but you're gonna need to put in some physical effort, some labor. You're gonna have to log those steps. In a given day, I don't do anything crazy, but I work from home, I live here, and I'm just walking around doing stuff. I'm doing like 10 to 13,000 steps a day. So even outside of the fitness I do, in addition to that, I'm just naturally logging a lot of steps. Plenty of people step more than me. That's not a brag, that's not a flex, anything like that, but my lifestyle just, I'm walking a lot as is. But if your lifestyle isn't walking a lot normally, then you even need to be a little bit more cognizant about your own level of fitness, because if SH does TF, it'd be better if you weren't catching up on that. So that's my first advice. Speaking of, I've already been doing a lot of walking today, and it's a great time to thank our sponsors. Once again, thank you LMNT, I love LMNT. I drink it on the daily. They've sponsored a few videos here recently. I have a new product to show you that they just sent me out. So LMNT, if you've never heard of LMNT, it is an electrolyte drink mix, which, you know, can't do better than showing you what they show on the box, but designed to be the perfect blend of minerals to rehydrate, because water alone does not rehydrate you. They're one of my favorite video sponsors to date, so hopefully they stick around for a while. But I drink this stuff pretty much every day. Like I said earlier, I log a fair bit of steps in addition to pretty regular workouts, so I pretty much try to stay hydrated every day. So I'm sucking down packs of this. They just launched actually 12-ounce cans. So this is basically sparkling water with about a half serving of what you're used to if you do these. Though I've talked about, sometimes it's good to do a half serving. If you don't want it that salty, if you don't need that much flavor, maybe you want to add it to another drink or something, I frequently am doing half servings of this. So the can, 12-ounce can, half serving. I believe they're just, you can check the website for more info and probably find out where, but kind of some health shops and gyms and specialty retailers and a few Targets, I guess. This is launching online in 2026. Pineapple. It's good. They have orange, they have lemonade, and they have black cherry. They didn't send me any black cherry, but that black cherry I'm guessing would be my favorite. But pineapple is actually my favorite of the ones that they did send me. And Ashley prefers these quite a bit over the regular powder drinks. Anyway, they're for athletes, Olympians, Navy SEALs, team guys, cool guys, door kickers, people that are just hitting it hard, but they're also for everyday Joes that are just logging a measly 10,000 steps a day as well. Maybe trying to get a workout here and there, throw their kids around. Good to stay hydrated. So they have a landing page for me, Drink Element. It's drinklmnt.com/LLOD. And any order you place, not just your first, not just your second, not on a subscription or anything, every single order you place through that link, you'll get an 8-pack sample pack of elements. So you're basically getting 8 free sticks every time you use that link, drinklmnt.com/LLOD. So a huge shout out. I've still been loving Element. I actually gave my UPS driver a pack because he had only tried a competing brand, but had always wanted to try Element. I was like, you need to try it. And he loves it. So anyway, Element, appreciate the sponsor. Be on the lookout. You can get them now at certain places for the 12-ounce sparkling cans, which are my wife's favorite. But thank you for sponsoring this video. And let's get back to talking about grid down travel, grid down mobility. So we're sitting in the golf cart right now. I'm going to talk about this in a second. This was another Facebook Marketplace find. So anyway, like I said, it'll be a little bit of rambling, somewhat topical, and then we're going to get into some specifics around some vehicles. Actually got some new ones here. Don't mind my disaster of a garage. Can you see them? These are some HOVSCO e-bikes that I can pack 2 kids on the back of. So an e-bike, you can carry some gear and yourself and 2 kids. I could probably squeeze 3 little kids back there as well. So we're going to talk about that. Surron golf cart. But all of these things, everything I'm talking about today, there's a few things that you got to think about. Like I said, I'll probably do a follow-up video where I'm talking more long distance travel or just heavier duty stuff. Like I have a tractor, I have a Kubota L3902 that I use for stuff around the property. That is an off-grid vehicle as well. We're not really going to talk about it in this, but this is more movement, shorter travel, stuff that can potentially work in a longer term grid down scenario, but also a short term grid down scenario. So I think of these kind of things that'll check a lot of boxes in a variety of ways. When I travel out of town, I'm going to an overland expo or whatever, I try to bring a bike with me, something that if my vehicle goes down or there's just too much congestion or whatever, I talk a lot about liking to drive vehicles that can go off-road, that can hop over medians and go around pileups or even push them out of the way. So it's always one consideration, but if that's not possible, I want a second thing that will help me travel further, faster. So oftentimes that's a bicycle. So when you're traveling remote, if you work at an office job, I was actually just talking about to my buddy who lives up here, but works down in Aurora basically on his daily commute. And we were kicking around ideas of like, man, if the grid went down or some catastrophe happened and you couldn't take your truck home, do you have a backup? And the bicycle is the logical one for that. But I was like, a Onewheel would be pretty good actually. If you just need to do a quick 20 miles or one of those like ride on unicycle things. Anyway, a lot of rambling to say the vehicles I'm talking about today, kind of multi-use. Obviously use them at home, maybe take them with you on a trip. These e-bikes I got specifically for the bus build. I'm going to throw them on the back. So when we're out somewhere, we can use the bikes to just get around locally. But if something went down and I need to travel 100, 200, 300, 400 miles home, the bikes would help with that scenario as well. So I know we're getting a little bit into doomsday stuff, but you clicked on the video and you probably should have known what you were getting yourself into. So when we think about vehicles like this and outside of your normal trucks or cars or whatever, you think of what are the limitations then? It's the fuel stations will be down. So you either need to be self-powered or have the ability to create your own energy, your own fuel. And you do that with things like this, with solar panels paired to, you either have a giant house backup like I do, or you pair them with little devices like that. So I have 10 kilowatts on the roof that I wish was more, and a 54 kilowatt hour battery array, like a whole big house backup from grid down. I've talked about that in a few videos, love that. So that does all my needs, but I also like to nerd out with other stuff. So I'm always kind of running solar that I have on the roof here into other things. This is an Anker F3800 Plus. This is a Jackery HP 3000. And I have several fun solar panels coming down into these batteries. So I have a variety of ways to create power. And you guessed it, that power can create fuel for electric vehicles. So my golf cart is an electric vehicle. These e-bikes are electric vehicles. We'll talk about those more in a second, but they got gear carrying capability, kid carrying capability. This is a 24 volt electric vehicle that Coop uses. I get these things with ability to store stuff because I want to use them around on the property, right? We're taking chicken food out or just doing whatever we're doing. So the tractor got a little trailer and we legitimately load that thing up. Sometimes we'll drive it down to the mailbox to get packages and we'll put them in there. Sometimes it's just a waterer for the chickens. Sometimes it's a bag of mulch or a bag of soil or whatever it is. We like having the ability to move stuff around. This is just a regular old golf cart, like not a tricked out one for work or anything, but it is what we use to get our trash down to the dumpster as well. Then we got the Surron electric, obviously. Charge that, ride it forever. The TW200, not electric obviously, but pretty good on the fuel, and it's just kind of like a tractor, can go anywhere. And then for actual, I actually like to mountain bike, so none of those things work. This is an Ari. This is a Timp Peak. This is an analog bike, so this is no e-bike. This is an e-bike, a pedal assist. So these also be riding around in the end of the world. So I do have options, and these are all kind of different use cases. The Surron's the fastest. This is for more people. Those e-bikes are self-powered or traveling with some people. They're all checking kind of different boxes, but they all have one thing in common. I can generate the energy myself, whether that's through pedal or whether that's through solar. So these kind of vehicles, you're not taking long distance, but you're taking down the street. You're taking, maybe there's a water source nearby. Maybe you have a friend that lives a few blocks away. Maybe you have a facility where you're storing other gear that's a few miles away that you need to get to. Maybe you're going longer distance and you're bringing some solar and some batteries with you for the trip. That's wild, but you can do that with these kind of things. So they're multi-use, I guess. I don't know if I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but I think you can use your imagination for what you're going to use these things for. The only thing I kind of want to add, well, there's a bunch of stuff I always want to add, but one of the things I want to add is a trailer that I can pull with any of my bikes or the Surron. My friends we're friends-ish. The guys at Dirty Civilian, awesome YouTube channel, if you haven't seen them, did a video recently on their Surron that they had, or maybe it was an e-ride, I forget. But anyway, they added extra storage capability. They have a little cheapy trailer on it. That was a good video, more single focused on kitting out a specific thing, where this video is talking more about a bunch of random stuff. But a trailer that I could add to that. I have a trailer for a golf cart, and it's just, I added a 2-inch hitch receiver on, so I can really kind of hook anything up that, you know, it could realistically tow, whether that's a log splitter or a trailer. I've got a little dump trailer. So extending the capabilities of these things. And obviously, I know not everyone lives like I live, on a little bit of property. Some people live on a lot more property, so they have bigger utility vehicles. I live on just 15 acres, so I kind of have smaller utility vehicles. And some of you might just live in an apartment or something like that, which is totally fine, in which case you may just pick one of these things. Like the e-bikes would be a great one. The HOVSCO, which I'll talk about in a little bit. That one probably checks the most boxes for kind of normal use, preparedness, everything. But let's just jump into some vehicles a bit. I'll start talking about the golf cart here, and then we'll just kind of get into some of the other things. All right, so here it is. This is my golf cart. It is nothing fancy, nothing special. Yeah, it's wrapped. We'll get into it. But this is an EasyGo RXV. Just set up for golf. I got this on Facebook Marketplace for about $2,000 from a guy that lived on a golf course, and he logged many miles on this thing, I'm sure. But it's set up for golf. We got the sand, seed, we got a little basket here, little basket in the back, fold down windshield, little cooler on the side. We use it a lot to go get the mail, take trash to the dumpster, go take chicken food out to the chickens, just do miscellaneous stuff, maybe throw a bag of mulch in the back, whatever. So some things I did to it, just real quick to get those out of the way. I didn't lift it, but I added slightly bigger tires. These are 20x8 on 10-inch wheels, and I didn't go crazy. These are like turf tires, so slightly more aggressive, but nothing crazy. The idea when I got this, I was getting into golf, and I was like, I'll just like have this for use around the house, and maybe I'll take it golfing as well. I ain't never gonna take it golfing. It's way too much work. And then the only other thing I did really was add a 2-inch hitch receiver. So I don't have a wood splitter myself, but I borrow one from my neighbors, and it has a hitch, so I drive over there, hook that up, bring it back. I got a little dump trailer that I throw on the back here. You realize it's not gonna tow anything serious, but little things like that, I mean, it is great. And then the other upgrade I did is put in this Vatrer 150 amp hour battery, which I will talk all about that here in a second. And then yeah, the wrap is Multicam Tropic that my friend Jake from Lucid Wraps came up and just wrapped it real quick. Just did a quick job, nothing too fancy. I was like, just do this as fast as possible. The color underneath was green, so it's not too jarring or anything like that. But that's it. Otherwise, it's just set up for golf. But that's not a bad thing, because we got cup holders galore, little cubbies, nooks and crannies. It's honestly perfect for around the homestead, and then also for grid down operations as well. So I had a Polaris General XP 4-door XP 1000. That thing was awesome. It was an incredible machine, but it was as big as an SUV. It It had a bed, but a small bed. It could do more than the golf cart could do, no doubt. But it was kind of loud, even though I put the quietest exhaust on it that I could, that actually quieted it down from factory. It was gas powered, so you gotta start it, stop it, it's running, not quiet again. Entry was serious, more like getting into a car. It was much faster, so letting like my teenage daughter drive it around, I was always a little bit worried, whereas she hops in the golf cart and not as worried. And getting the little kids in as well. So now I have a 1 and a 2-year-old. Kind of have to put them in car seats or whatever. They're climbing. It's more work. I only have 15 acres. I'm not needing to drive super far in that thing. I don't drive this thing out on public roads or anything like that. So this makes way more sense for how I use it. And a few of the reasons why is it's electric. There's no noise. There's no starting and stopping it. There's nothing to it. And you don't even need to do anything. With the RXV, there's not even like a click down pedal lock. It's just this. It's in drive, and you drive, and then it self-stops and just automatically goes into park. So now we're in park. I don't even need to do anything. A lot of times I'll just drive up, and then before I'm even stopped, I'll just get out, and it stops and puts itself into park. These things are designed to just be wildly convenient. Going into reverse, same deal. You can brake obviously, but then it'll just stop. The entry and exit, so easy. You know, it's not 4-wheel drive. It's not a crazy off-road vehicle, but it'll go some places. This one's got headlights, and then tactically, like you have 360 view. If I had an AR out here, I could get that out. This windshield folds down, out the back, out everywhere. Like if I was riding shotgun, like good. I mean, you know, tactically kind of cool. Is it going to protect me from enemy fire, we'll call it? No, it's not. But for just a small kind of homestead, people have these in neighborhoods all the time. They're driving them to their friends. Like golf carts are nothing new, but I never thought of them from kind of like a homesteading, little bit of property aspect, I guess. Most people think side-by-sides and tractors, which I do have a tractor. Golf cart is the key. You can even add another seat back here. I may do that eventually, but I kind of have it set up for just trash can mode. And the bench seat here can fit 3. I mean, my daughters fit like 4 of her friends on this thing, and I'm always worried they're going to flip and someone's going to break an arm. But you could fit quite a few people, even on just the regular 2-seater as well. I'm not trying to sell you on golf carts necessarily, but electric. Doesn't need gas, solar, batteries, can charge it just from a normal outlet. Any battery station, you know, this battery's pretty big, but any battery station could technically charge this thing, assuming it's got 1,500 plus watts of output. So given enough time, you could charge this thing with basically any power station and basically any solar panel. Obviously, you want more solar and more power to charge it faster, you know, from 0 to full in one go, but even if you have a small one, you can charge this thing. You could even, I've seen some people convert the roofs and just put on like a 400-watt solar panel up here and put a little MPPT charger in here. You can always also use this. I don't really have it set up this way, but you can use this. You could hook it to an Anderson output or whatever, and you could use this as a battery bank. So you could use your golf cart to extend the storage capacity of one of your other bigger units if it has like an external battery output. People are hacking those with the F3800s all the time. So you can use this battery as a golf cart, but secondarily extra storage, and you could charge radios off of this thing, and you could do all kinds of stuff. It has a 12-volt converter, so a 48 to 12-volt converter, because the lights and stuff run off of 12 volts. So if you need to run 12-volt stuff, you'll need that, but they come on most golf carts, and then you can run 12-volt accessories off of this thing as well. Granted, there's an amperage rating, and depending on what you're trying to run, you might not be able to run it. But basically, this is a vehicle that can tow with a 2-inch hitch receiver. It can transport multiple people. It has a plethora of uses. It's relatively quick, like 25 miles an hour. You can hack them even to go faster than that. This thing with the battery gets like 70 miles of range. 70 miles of range out of this thing that you can just charge at home, and is basically quiet, or is basically silent. It is quiet. So, I mean, a golf cart, man, they're pretty sweet. So anyway, I got this thing for a pretty good deal, and it was because the batteries were, towards the end of life. The batteries are water batteries, and they're typically in a series, and they require maintenance, and they leak. And don't quote me on this because I haven't fact checked it, which I probably should do now. Maybe I'll update the video. I heard charging these things also releases a little bit of toxic gas, which I do in the garage, and I got little kids around it all the time, so it's probably not good. Switching over to lithium phosphate gets rid of all of that. There's no maintenance. There's way more charge cycles, so this battery will realistically probably outlast the golf cart. And I get way more range, way more time between charges, and it's a more efficient setup. So this one, why I went for it, 48 volt battery and 150 amp hours. A lot of these are 100 amp hours or 105 amp hours. I went for this one because I wanted maximum juice. Full disclosure, they did send me this thing. More full disclosure, I get offers for free batteries all the time. All the time. It's not a flex. It's just they want to send stuff out to the YouTube space because it's great marketing. So, anyways, I turned down almost all of them, and every once in a while there will be something that comes across my table, and I'm like, that is actually the ticket. So, exploring a bunch of different options, I decided on this one. They sent it to me for free. Don't get me wrong, it was free, but I decided on this one because I wanted all that capacity. So basically there's a bunch of batteries in series here normally, which ups the voltage. Each battery in a series is adding that voltage on. So depending on the voltage of your golf cart, a lot of them are 48 volts and a lot of them use 6 volt or 8 volt batteries. So they're using 6 or 8 of those in a series to achieve what this one battery does. The footprint of this is half the watt hours, the storage, the usable watt hours of this, I think is like 4 times as much as your normal array. Like you get 4 times the distance basically out of it. And it's half the size and I don't know, like a fifth the weight or something like that. So this takes up what one row of batteries took up and the other row was behind there. I'm pretty sure I recorded a bunch of this stuff and maybe talked about it, so I'll show that now and maybe there'll be some voiceover, but I filmed a little bit of the install. Actively 105 amp hour, they say, do about 50 miles of range. This is about 70 miles of range, which is pretty insane. So for people that don't know, most electric golf carts are pretty much the same where they have the batteries underneath the seat here. It's a 48 volt system. So it consists of this one anyway, 6 8-volt batteries in series that combines to go to 48 volt, and there's usually a reducer that takes that down to 12 volt for your headlights and whatnot, and then the motor actually runs on 48 volts. So this is very heavy. It, as you can see, kind of corrodes and is gross, a lot of maintenance, doesn't have, you can only use like half or less of the capacity, and you gotta swap these pretty often. Doesn't have the cycles of lithium iron phosphate. It does come with this little screen that'll show the data, so I'll mount that up here somewhere. Alright, so all those batteries are out. I'll probably weigh them just because I'm curious, but that was, I don't know, what I'm hoping will be the hardest part of the process. So they were in here on this basically holder. Unfortunately, these pieces, I don't know, you could probably tell obviously, I can't get a single big battery in here without removing this. These are all welded, so I can't bolt. So I'll need to get the angle grinder or sawzall out and basically cut them off. So I had some scrap 2x12s lying around that I cut and ripped and then painted black, and they came basically to the exact height. Yeah, I mean about 1/8 of an inch higher than that metal bracket area. So made a nice flat spot for the battery to drop into. So this is 133. And then one of these is about 63. And there are 6 of them. So then we went from around 378 pounds for those 6 batteries, down to 155 pounds for the single battery. There's maybe a couple pounds extra in wiring and stuff we got rid of. So we lost 223 pounds and gained quite a bit of runtime. All right, so the battery drops right in, like fits perfectly. Takes up literally about half the space. Like this is where all the second row of batteries was, and there's nothing there anymore. And it fits right into here, so I have it centered. So I'll put a couple bolts down through these feet, a couple bolts, I don't know if you can see, but down through those feet right there, and it'll be super secure, and actually will shift the weight forward a little bit more in the middle, and man, that fits right up. Still plenty of room for the seat to fold in above it. And I could put the charger down in here, I could put the charger back in here, so plenty of room for everything. Nice. Alright, we got her bolted down. Shaking the whole golf cart, so should be good. Now let's connect her, see if she works. Alright, so we are hooked up here and charging. Shows the current, percentage, estimated time till full. All of that stuff is nice because I never knew with my other charger percentages or charging time or anything like that. Also shows voltage, temp. Let's see what else we got here. 150 amp hours, 1 cycle, temp, status, yeah. Discharge and charge, both on. And then you can basically see each cell's voltage as well, which, you know, it's good to know if you're debugging issues or whatever, but most people can skip the screen. And the main screen, yeah, I'm actually just charging it off of this thing here, the Anchor Solix, so you can see that it is drawing 1240 watts right now. So that is just plugged in to the side here with the regular little extension cord run in to the charger. So pulling about 1200 watts. So that's the speed at which we are charging from AC. I do have the charger down in here. I need to mount it, but just to kind of try it out. It has a fan to help with cooling, and battery is all hooked up. And I may try to do something in here, like the golf cart was like this already, just open, and junk can fly in and get up in here. So I may, you know, do something in the future to kind of close that off a little bit. So one thing that I will add to this is an EMP Shield. I have these in all the vehicles. This one is a 48 volt. So it's for 48 volt systems, like the golf cart. So I'll need to wire that up, but then the golf cart will theoretically be protected from EMP, and then I can charge it as well with the solar on the roof of my garage, like I'm actually doing right now. We drive this thing pretty much every day, so I never turn it on and off, but there is a button there that you can turn on and off, and some other plugs obviously for the screen and whatnot. And then I think I showed it already probably in the previous session. I just screwed that charger down there, so now I just keep the charger in here all the time and have a little plug that I plug it in. But man, like I was charging the old battery, and granted they were tired, but I was charging them like every other day. This thing, I go a month without charging it. It's crazy. And I used to have this big clunky charger, but it was nice because that thing did just plug in externally. But now instead of that, I plug this in. So it's not really not really harder. So thank you, Vatrer, for sending that out. I have a link. I don't know if I have coupon codes or affiliate or whatnot, but I always appreciate you clicking my links. I'll put them down below in the video description down below. So check them out. And like I said, if it's hard to stomach the cost, less maintenance, it'll last way longer, it's way better, it's safer. There's so many benefits. And then now you have a big battery. You could do this with any battery, but you can think of it this way. Now you have a big battery array. You could hook up, you could charge it with solar, you can hook up external power, you can, again, run it to a bigger device if you need to expand your storage capability. You could run a refrigerator off of this thing and throw it in the back. You can do all kinds of stuff. Electric golf carts, just a big giant battery on wheels. Golf cart's my favorite of the grid down vehicles, honestly. I think I'd like to, since I don't think I'm ever actually gonna take this to a golf course, I think I'm gonna rig up a front rack, because it's always, even though we got all this storage and all these other little cubbies and stuff, I think like a front rack would be cool that I could put like buckets on and stuff like that. And then I think a 400-watt solar panel on the roof would just be cool, because you could just, I'll park it in the sun and just charge it. And then maybe the back seat. I don't know about that. So then the next one here, this is probably, as far as practicality and functionality, this honestly is better than a Surron. It's better than my nearly $10,000 RE e-bike. It's better than most things when it comes to grid down vehicles. You hate to hear it. These were sent to me for free as well. Not getting paid. There's nothing I need to say. All these opinions are, I feel like I have to say it. You guys know me. You guys should know that. But anyway, yeah, I didn't even really look at all the specs on here. We're going to be different than all the other nerd channels. And I'm just going to talk functionality here. So I'm a purveyor of cool stuff, always. And are these the coolest looking things in the world? No, they're not. I agree. The step through is just kind of nerdy in general. But when I was kind of planning this thing and thinking about this section here, which I'll show you some clips of the kids in the back, this can seat 2, maybe even 3 kids back here. This one's set up with the rear seat, but without the armrests. I may add the armrests. So I can put the kickstand down, which is this straight up and down kickstand, which, you know, other bikes don't have. And I can set the kids in here, and they sit back in here. They're kind of contained in this area. And like, you know, getting on a bike, normally you're like kicking your leg over. I would jump kick my kids right in the face if I had to do that. So the step through, like this whole setup, little geeky looking, but max functionality here. So then I can go through, get on right away. I have this one set up a little bit smaller so that Ashley can ride this. We can both ride it, but the seat's a little lower and the handlebars are a little closer, so Ashley can ride this. That's the other thing. Ashley is much more comfortable riding this than something else. So 2 kids or more, I could sit on the back of one of these, like a full-grown human could sit on the back of this. I think they're like 450-pound weight rating total, and ride on the back of it. I could even pull one of these off, you know, if I need to watch the 6 and kind of just hold on. Would I want to do it? Not really. Could I do it in a pinch? Yes. And this is really known more like a cargo. It's technically a cargo bike that you can alter to carry kids. So if there's not kids on here, you can put milk crates back here, duffel bags, boxes, lots of stuff you can put back here. You can buy side bags. You can get the front basket as well. It says it can only hold 10 kilograms, so 22-ish pounds, but feels pretty stout, honestly. So you can carry the kids, picnic basket, diaper bag up here. You could even put a backpack on or whatever. I actually just tested it out just because I was curious. Could I carry a backpack with the kids? And you can, because you think they're sitting, so they're back a little bit, so they're not really back to like back here. So this thing right here is an insane just functionality with little kids or cargo. And this is one that I think adding a trailer would extend that even more. And I will just so you have things in perspective. Looks like it's $1,500 right now. Top speed of 28 miles per hour. I think you might be able to unlock more than that even. Payload capacity, 450 pounds total on the bike. Has a 1,300 watt motor. It says 60 miles of range. So 60 miles of range. It's hard to tell when you have pedal assist. That's always going to be variable. So take that with a grain of salt. It's not going to have 60 miles of range of straight maximum throttle. You're not going to get that out of it. I haven't done a range test there because that's a lot of work. But the range is technically more than that if you pedal. This is where fitness kind of comes in to the equation. Again, range is unlimited with enough fitness. But anyway, it's nice because it does have a throttle. A Class 1 e-bike, the ones that I ride on trails, are only pedal assist. So nothing wrong with that. But in a cargo carrying capacity, when I got other people on board, sometimes it's nice just to throttle a little bit. Or if, there's a section I just can't ride, but maybe I have cargo in here or the kids in the back, I can still push and then I can throttle as well. So that's the other nice thing about it. You can throttle and push to get kind of maximum going there. Has front suspension on here, no rear suspension. Again, that's because it's really made to just carry cargo. So you'd either have to have a super stiff suspension that wouldn't even be a rear suspension when you don't have anything on it, or you just go no suspension. Relatively small tires, but also relatively fat. This thing rides pretty nice. Again, it's a utilitarian setup. It's here to serve a purpose. It's not going to ride as good as, again, like my Class 1 e-bike. But for what it is, I'm actually really impressed. I was a little worried that when I had the kids on here, it would be a little top heady. It'd be a little like, whoa, 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 and throwing me off balance. And while you can feel it, and my son Cooper was in the back just like going crazy, like it was doing a little bit of it, but really more controlled than I thought. It'd be a little more sketchy riding it with the two kids in the back than it is. So yeah, there's a screen. There's, here you can control the level of pedal assist. It does actually shows the battery, all your relevant information that you'd expect. There's a phone app. This is the throttle. This turns your headlight on and off. So you actually have a headlight and you have a rear light when that headlight is on, and then it's also a brake light as well. So when you use either of the front brakes, you have a brake light. So that's all standard. That all just comes with it. You have hydraulic disc brakes, which are nice. You have a lockout front fork. You can adjust the preload a little bit. And, I'll probably just keep all the fenders up. This is a question that maybe some of you had. How does their little feet and stuff not get into the tires? Well, they got the guards on here, these little plastic guards. So it's keeping anything off of getting down really into the chain and stuff like that. The other thing that's nice, I realized when I was putting this thing together, is the seat. This I could just grab here, but the seat has a little handle. So when you need to move this bike around, you can really grab it and move it around. It's relatively lightweight. Even set up like this, it's, I could lift this all day. Granted, again, physical fitness, but I believe the base bike is about 60 pounds. Battery, as you'd imagine, in that fat tube there. But it's just another sick option. Like 2 kids, some gear, pedal, throttle, 20-some miles per hour, range, unlimited, technically. So I wanted 2 of these because I think when I build out, this one's set up, the handlebars are a little more forward and whatnot. This is more set up for me. I'll use the black one probably, and Ashley will use the orange one. So I don't know if I don't know how we're gonna do it for the rear seat. But also, like I said earlier, you could put an adult on here. So anyway, I'm gonna set this up with the basket as well and just fully geek out. These, do I need to load some buckets and some jugs and go get some water in the back? I can do that. Are we just going out for a little trip around town? You can do that. Are you commuting to work in this thing? You could do that. And then another use case that I'm always thinking of is the bus, the bug out bus, which I'm not really going to use for bugging out most likely, but I could. It's part of the build design considerations. We're gonna use that for family travel. Family travel. So we throw these 2 bikes on the back, and maybe we end up in an RV park, or maybe we end up in a beach town where I don't wanna drive this thing and figure out where to park it and whatnot, and we just park it on the outskirts. We load up on the bikes, we ride those into town. And then as this video is talking about, obviously grid down. If something happens and we're somewhere and we need to get somewhere else that's better, it's gonna favor us, whether that be home or a friend's house or just stops along the way, and the bus can't make it anymore, we can at least carry the kids and some of our gear on this thing. Like, we could kit one of these things out with our gear, you know, maybe like a little solar generator and some panels, water, food, stuff like that, and then the kids. So I don't know. I was shopping around for a bunch of bikes, and I get e-bikes are like batteries. The companies hit you up all the time. Like, they just want to send people bikes. And I see some people that are just taking every bike out there. These bikes I got for a very specific purpose. And that is the purpose. So hopefully, you know, if you didn't know these things existed before, now you do. They're pretty new to me. I don't know. If I end up using them on the bus or whatnot, maybe I'll show you some more of them actually, you know, out on a trip later. And then one other thing that I've never heard anyone really talk about, but I was talking to my buddy about this. This is a Onewheel. It's an older one. It's an XR. It's not a GT or anything. Onewheel, if you're watching, I need a GT, but this is an XR. And I've ridden it a ton. I ride it at events. I take it to shows. I ride it around wherever. SEMA, Overland Expo. This thing gets me around. I'll get the mail on it sometimes. If I lived in a neighborhood, I'd ride it probably all the time. If I lived somewhere super close to work, you could even commute to work in this thing. It has realistically something like 20 miles of range. And again, it's electric, it's quiet. You have both your hands available when you're riding this thing. You can carry something with it. You could have a backpack on. You could get to a weapon. It's maneuverable. It's super minimal. If you're riding this thing, you know, in a grid down scenario and you need to navigate through broken down cars or whatever, you could do it. So this was an option where I was like, if you commute back and forth to work and you're thinking in that preparedness mindset, you have a Onewheel and the Onewheel just sits at home normally and you're not ever using it unless you're at home, you could keep that in your car. You could take it to the office with you. You could keep it at the office even if you want. So say your commute's 20 miles. You could do the whole thing on the Onewheel potentially, or say your commute's 50 miles. Wouldn't it be nice to cut almost half of that off by riding the Onewheel and then just ditching it in a bush somewhere? These are the things I think about. I don't know, just because it's kind of fun for me to gamify preparedness, but relatively small. You know, you're obviously not going to ride cross country on this thing unless you had a bunch of ways to charge it. You could, but just the whole ethos of getting home, and once you get home, then you can load in the bug out bus or whatever. But getting home, there's so many books. I think a lot of people nerd out about it because there's a lot of books written about it, a lot of post-apocalyptic books written about it. The getting home aspect, Onewheel, underrated. Or the unicycle things, I've never ridden one, I've never owned one, but that you kind of go straight on rather than, you know, riding like a skateboard. Those, I think, have even more range and you're even faster than a Onewheel, but the same thing. They're maneuverable, they're quick, they have decent range, you still have both hands. If there's an area you can't ride them, they're light enough that you can just pick them up, hike up a hill around the way, and then continue on your path. They're easier to carry and move than a bicycle. I don't know, something to consider. And then we're not gonna get too into these because they're pretty obvious, the utility behind them. A motorcycle, obviously, the T-Dub, I bought mostly for end of the world. So I have a gas-powered option that I can store some gear on. I actually have some other baskets. I got a front basket so I can kind of load it out a little more utilitarian. Easy to ride, low seat height. It's not silent. It does need fuel, but super easy to work on. Great option for, you know, a motorcycle, just, you know, an easy cruising motorcycle. So one of the things I just wanted in the collection. The Surron, though, is electric. It is very quiet. I can recharge it at home. It's quick, it's nimble, it's so lightweight, 100 some pounds, can just lift it up, move it around. Technically, I could sit 2 people on it. You can kit these things out as well with baskets and stuff like that. So I probably will do a little bit of that, but I'm kind of waiting to see if maybe I want to upgrade it, because this is one of the first gen Surrons. I got them. I wasn't like a super early adopter, but now there are so many different variants of this that are quite a big improvement. So rather than upgrading this, maybe just get a new one and sell this. I'm not sure. So I'm kind of figuring out how much I want to invest in it. But these things can go 50 miles. The new ones can go faster. This one can go like 45, 50 miles an hour. It rides somewhere between a mountain bike and a dirt bike. It's just, they're so easy to ride. Anyone can ride them. Quiet, fast, pretty good range. Makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you need to charge it. I actually got a smaller one. This is more of a pit bike. I got this for the teenager, but it's a little too crazy. So I'll probably sell this one, actually. But just another option, similar. And then we got this. This is the Ari. This is an e-bike. This is a class 1 e-bike. This is what I ride trails with for fun. You know, I mountain bike. This is a true mountain bike. But, you know, it has a lot of the same grid down vehicle characteristics, just not built for utilitarian aspects. This is built to ride. It's not built to haul gear. Are there some, you know, fat tire bikes and stuff that are a little more designed for it? Yes, there are. This isn't it, but again, another good option if I need to go fast, quiet, solo, pretty good. This one rides pretty nice even with no battery. So if I use the battery to maximize my range, I could still continue riding it and it wouldn't be a whole lot different. This is not an e-bike, just an analog bike, we'll call it. And that's, you know, mountain bike. Everyone knows about those. But, you know, 2 great options to just have, combining hobby with the obvious grid down vehicle aspect. So there are other things you can get. This is just, I decided I wanted to kind of talk about the stuff I have that weren't like real vehicles, trucks and stuff. So I don't know, what else would you add? What other thoughts do you have? Quiet, utilitarian, can be refueled, recharged, multiple uses. Some of them can bring multiple people. Again, it depends on where you live, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do. All of those things will vary. But having some vehicles that can help with that transportation or gear transportation or hauling water around or whatever it is, definitely some good options worth looking into. So the only other things, you know, that you could add to it that would be even more grid down, I know some people will comment about this, but like horses, pack mules, goats, things like that. Yeah, those would be good too, because you can refuel those with grass and water. And I don't have any of them. Like I probably maybe will eventually. Depends. Depends on how much of this homestead life I really want to bite off. But yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. It was a random one. It's just kind of to get your brain juices flowing, to start some conversations, to think about ways that you can have things that you would use in the day-to-day, but also you can think about it, whether that's modifying them a little bit or just making a slightly different purchasing decision to really have dual purpose utility for a potential grid down scenario. And yeah, if you guys like this video, or even if you didn't like this video, but you want me to do more videos like it, I always need to hear that in the comments, so let me know. Regardless of if you guys want to watch it or not, I probably will do a similar video where I'm talking considerations of grid down vehicles, truck stuff. So some fuel storage and considerations, some how you build it. I kind of talk about that in the Prepared Daily Driver series, but also just driving considerations, because this is obvious to me, but some people comment on videos like I wouldn't have thought about this. But if you have one of the few running vehicles in a grid down scenario, obviously you're going to be a target. So I'll talk about that kind of stuff maybe in the more grid down trucks and vehicles video, where I talk about considerations of
fuel, of maintenance, of some things that you may want to have on hand, of some redundancy items. Like maybe you have a 5.7 liter Sequoia and you also have a 5.7 liter LX, and maybe you also have a 5.7 liter Tundra, and you just inherently bake into your life some redundancies that might help out. EMP shields, tires, ability to repair tires, and then just all that stuff. I nerd out on it. I read a lot of just fiction type books, and some of my prepper friends, when we go camping or hanging out or grabbing a drink or whatever, we just talk about this stuff. And I am not a paranoid, like living life for the maybe end of the world. It just is fun to me. I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the act of preparedness. It's just like all fun to me. So when I combine that with vehicles, it's a lot of fun. So I know this video is long. I had no idea it was going to be this long, but thank you for sticking with me to the end. Always appreciate your guys' support. Click the links down below, leave a comment, thumbs up, get subscribed, all that good stuff. Appreciate you. Until next time, guys, take care.